Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Wildbolt Storm Thundurus in the Open Ultra League. We're going to take a look at this Pokemon as well tomorrow in the Master League if you hit the like on the video. I feel like this is kind of fair. I cannot just want to wait basically until 10 AM because at 10 AM your local time you will be able to use an Elite Charge TM in order to get this move, and currently I actually have some decent ones. I think I have like a 15, 13, 15 or something laying around. I have the XL candy, so I definitely gonna try to showcase this tomorrow morning. But yeah, feel free to leave a like if you enjoy those kind of showcases early on for those new Pokemon releases. There are a lot to come. If you didn't see the news earlier on, there are going to be a lot of new Shadow Pokemon available. Definitely check out the video that I made on this one as well. Shadow Kyogre are gonna be crazy fun for the Great League, so definitely stay tuned for this as well. Otherwise, we're going to have here some test battles. Of course, as Ultra League is not really available. Same goes for the Great League would be not available as well right now, which is going to be something that I might want to take a look at some test battles as well for Friday again, because Friday we're gonna get Annihilate, and so tomorrow I'm mostly gonna make a video about some potential teams for Annihilate as well, even though the moveset is not final most likely. Going to be hopefully very interesting for you guys, so feel free to subscribe as well if you haven't. But let's take a look at the team. We're going to have the Pidgeot in the lead, we're going to have the Saisor of the Ampharos, and we're going to have the new Wildbolt Storm variant of the Thundurus Therian in the back as a closer. And you see already, there's one big issue for this team, which I did not really think about, which is going to be Rock-type Pokemon. So yeah, this team might not be as ideal. I kind of want to have like some kind of answer for like Swampert in the lead, something that baits out Swampert with the Ampharos and then try to sweep endgame with it. And yeah, I need something that beats both Swampert as well as the Giratina. And Pidgeot does this, but Pidgeot also loses to Rock-type Pokemon, so that was not really ideal there. Let's take a look at the next opponent here. We're going to see actually a great lead for us, which is going to be the Snorlax in the lead. So we're going to be able to resist the fast move of the opponent. We're going to be able to take our Body Slam here for sure as well. And a Brave Bird will do a ton of damage. So still my backline is going to be okay for this one as well. So what I decided to do here is I decided to go for the big Brave Bird, trying to do some decent damage against the opponent. Now swap out into my Ampharos, get an energy advantage. We're gonna get out the Roserade. Also again, like there were a lot of spicier picks that my opponents played, which I really enjoy as well. So very cool to see that kind of stuff. Of course, some went completely full tryhard meta, which is also totally fine. But yeah, today we're gonna take a look a little bit more at the Thundurus here. Thundurus is actually a very cool Pokemon. I'm actually curious on how good it's going to be in the Open Master League, which we're gonna take a look at tomorrow then as well. Because I feel like this definitely has some more play. Having access to this move is going to be very nice for it as well, especially as you do a lot of damage already with a fast move for like the electric type damage with the Volt Switch. It's going to be great to have something like an Icy Wind clone for it, so I could definitely see this Pokemon have a lot of potential in the Open Master League. So we're definitely going to take a look at this one tomorrow then, but here we're going to see a Brave Bird landing against, never mind, they're gonna get the shield against the Dragonite, and now it's time for Thundurus to take on the opponent. Thundurus is gonna go for a charge move here. The Wildbolt Storm is coming through doing a ton of damage, and we can use a shield against the opponent in order to survive the incoming Dragon Claws, as we can still try to go for the full farm down, which nearly works out. As the opponent stops out, we can still go for another Wildbolt Storm, and the Thundurus is getting the double KO here. So good game there to the opponent. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Talonflame in the lead. We're going to swap out immediately basically into the Ampharos. Big issue for this team is going to be also something like the Galarian Stunfisk, so definitely going to be a little bit of a trickier one. What I should have went with most likely with my lead would be something like the Poliwrath. I feel like the normal Poliwrath would have been the better play. Would have made me way weaker against something like the Giratina, but still I feel like it would have been the better Pokemon to go for. So yeah, here we're going to be able to still go ahead and go for the Brutal Swing. Also, interestingly enough, here we can still realign, which is kind of cool. You would also have the option to go for Sludge Wave on the on the Thundurus, which would be interesting. Maybe even something for the Master League. Sludge Wave would be cool for something like the Fairy type Pokemon that are currently around. So maybe a little bit of a tech move on this one, but we will see about this. I feel like actually like the Sludge Wave would be a cool move to go for something like a Zacian or the Xerneas later on. So maybe Thundurus might be something that is a little bit more meta. Took a look already earlier on at also the Tornadus as an XL Pokemon in the Master League, so definitely check that video out if you want to know on how good this Pokemon gonna be there with all the XL candy on it. But here we're gonna see now as well the full farm down that we can do against the opponent's Pokemon, but it's going to be tricky again. They're going to have in the bag the one Pokemon that I don't want to face, which is going to be the Steelix. We have access to the Focus Blast though, so maybe there is still a chance, but again, this typing of Steel and Ground is going to be very tough for this team to deal with. We're gonna be able to still go for one bait here first, hoping that I can still maybe reach that focus blast. Do they let me go for it? They do not. Very sad. I wish they would have just let me do it because it's a test battle anyway. Like, have some fun, but we're gonna decide to forfeit here and we can move on to the next one. Next opponent, we're going to have the Dragonite in the lead, which is going to be okay for us as well. We're going to be able to just go for a charge move. If they don't want to swap out, they decide to swap out into the Jellicent, and now it's showtime for our, Thundurus. Yeah, Thundurus can just go for the full farm down. Showtime it is. We're going to be able to just go ahead and go for the full farm down here. We're going to use a shield, of course, into the potential Shadow Ball, and it is going to be a Shadow Ball here. And we're going to get out of this matchup with 2 Wildbolt Storms loaded up already. If they want to go back into their Dragonite, this is going to be fine, as we can still just go for that move, try to get the knockout maybe against them as well eventually. We're gonna see here they're gonna use a shield, I can go for another one, their attack is double debuffed at this point, and so we're gonna be able to get the final shield of the opponent. I can even still try to use a shield here if I wanted to, but I'm gonna play it safe and I'm gonna let this move go through. I actually still survive, which is kind of funny, and they swap out into a Lantern, which is good that I didn't like try to do something funny and like swap out or whatever, because now we can at least align our Ampharos, which has access to the move Trailblaze, which is going to be super effective and buffs our attack, and so we can go up against the Lantern, and this is going to be a decent matchup for us. I'm gonna go for the Trailblaze first. I think I can only reach the Brutal Swing without using a shield, and I don't really want to use my shield right now, so maybe this does not even work either. So I decide to swap out now into my Pidgeot, trying to reach another charge move against the opponent's Pokemon later on, after of course use a shield here. Actually, I think I would have survived it. It's only going to be a Surf. And I tried to go for the Brave Bird here, but the opponent can still go for a charge move. And with this game is sadly over. They can knock me out, but I still have the Brutal Swing. They get the fast move in, but this might be just barely enough to survive a Spark. And let's take a look at this one. It's going to be a tie, actually, so a good game there. Next opponent is Spicy Lead here as well. We're going to see the Slowking in the lead, which is going to be interesting, as we're going to see the opponent swapping into the Galarian Stunfisk. Honestly, I saw the weakness. I saw the weakness for Galarian Stunfisk and was like, the likelihood of that we're gonna encounter this Pokemon is pretty slim. Like, I can see, of course, some Steelix, but even Steelix is like no way to be seen. So I was like, yeah, there's no way that we're going to encounter this Pokemon because, yeah, I don't know, like, there are not a lot of them really around usually for the Ultra League, and of course you're going to encounter one. And they actually went for the full tryhard mode, and even Best Buddy did, as I can see here right now. So yeah, it's a little bit tricky there, of course. Very strong Pokemon to play, but was not really that common recently, at least, when I played the Ultra League, so I'm kind of surprised to see it. I think I saw maybe one Poliwrath, not too sure. Yeah, I definitely saw one Poliwrath against this team, but like, basically, I think I saw even another Stunfisk coming up later on as well, which is kind of wild, but yeah, this Pokemon is very difficult to deal with. We actually still got him low, so like, I'm kind of happy with this, especially as I can just go for another Feather Dance, so we should be able to knock them out. But now it depends if our Thundurus in the back can actually carry us. It's going to be tough. It's going to be the Toxic Rock though. If I got to a charge move there, I would have been in such a great spot, but like this, we are not going to be in a great spot, and they're going to go ahead and go for their own charge move. Of course, we are forced to use a shield. We're insanely squishy. Like, we would definitely take a lot of damage even from a Mud Bomb there. And so we're going to be able to still go for another charge move here. It's going to be the Wildbolt Storm. It's going to get the knockout here, so you're going to get out the Slowking. At least they're going to try to finish up this game in style. It's going to be the Wildbolt Storm coming through. They're going to use a shield. I try to swap onto the charge move. It does not work out. They can just go for the full farm down, but they can also go for Surf here to knock me out. Good game there. Not a lot that I can do against the Galarian Stunfisk with this team. So again, if you ever want to try it out, which I doubt you will, with something like the, with the Thundurus in the back, I don't think you really want to try this out. Definitely try to go for something like the Poliwrath in the lead instead. But otherwise, we're going to see here a team that's kind of interesting with like triple XL for like Great League Pokemon. We're going to have the Altaria here. I actually don't know if it's triple. I forgot the last Pokemon for it, but we have the Altaria here. We're going to also have, of course, the Noctowl already in the lead, which we saw, which is kind of interesting. I should have let this move go through. I was thinking maybe it's a Moonblast. It was not a Moonblast. I could have just went straight for like the charge move. Slow survived a Sky Attack, fairly certain there at least. But yeah, we're gonna be able to get the knockout there. The opponent is deciding to swap out into the Aurora, so it's not triple XL for this for Great League Pokemon. It's still the Auroras in the back. At least we were able to land this Trailblaze, which is really important because now it comes down to Thundurus being able to knock them out. They actually played a little bit funny. I think they did it on purpose here as well. I think they know, of course, that Weather Ball would knock me out already, but they decided to go for the Meteor Beam, which I definitely appreciate. It makes this game a little bit more closer. I think at this point they know already they're in a great spot because, again, Rock typing and Ice typing kind of breaks a little bit of the team, which is not really ideal, which, again, a Poliwrath would have been way better for this. But at least we're going to be able to go back into our Pidgeot. Yeah, I can try to still do something here. I can still try to go for a Brave Bird against the opponent's Noctowl, but I can only do this if I basically catch a move, which does work out, which is kind of nice. So we were able to catch this guy attack here from the opponent, and so we still have a little bit of a play. We can go for our own Brave Bird. This is going to do around like 60% of the health of the opponent, which is going to be great, as well as we can try to go for a Feather Dancer, but it does not work out, and they can go for the knockout. We wouldn't have won this game anyway. We would have been debuffed against an Auroras, and we can move on into the final one. Final game for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, but we all see here a Typhlosion, and honestly, in hindsight, I kind of feel a little bit silly that I swapped out there because, yeah, I thought about like Typhlosion having access to the move Wild Charge, which it does, but it's not the recommended moveset, at least on PvPoke. I think it's like Fire Punch and Shadow Ball, and it would have been great with our lead, but at least we're gonna get out the Virizion, which is kind of something that I want to do. The opponent goes for a charge move here before I can even reach my own charge move, which is I'm fine with, like I'm totally okay with that. And so I can swap out into my Pidgeot, and I just have to hope that they don't have a Stone Edge here. But I also don't really want to get hit that often anyway, so while they're gonna go for the Sacred Sword here, I still decided to just go for the knockout because I feel like they could have even went for like 3 more Sacred Swords, like 2 more total and then. But yeah, I just decided to go for the knockout because I know that they had a ton of energy. And they swap into the Typhlosion because I know that they have access to Wild Charge. I decided to use a shield. It was just the Fire Punch, and this is a little bit awkward, especially as I'm gonna go for the bait. They're mostly not going to use a shield here, and they don't, and so it's going to be a little bit tricky. But yeah, let's see what we can see in the back. We're gonna get out the opponent's next Pokemon hopefully soon, but they're actually staying in here, and they're actually gonna go for another charge move. So now we're gonna swap at the same time as the opponent is going to do, and we're gonna get out, yeah, the Poliwrath. So this was like the final battle where we also actually encounter a Poliwrath, which is theoretically at least a decent matchup for you. You win this in every, I think, neutral scenario, I would imagine. Maybe not in the Zero Shields, but I think actually you win this in every neutral scenario, but we don't have a neutral scenario. The opponent has a shield advantage, and so this is going to be a little bit of a tough one because this Wildbolt Storm, actually, interestingly enough, gonna put the attack of the opponent so low that we can actually survive this incoming Icy Wind. But as you're gonna see here as well, it doesn't really help us too much. The opponent's still gonna get the knockout, so this is going to be a good game there. I'm actually thinking that this Pokemon is going to be great in the Master League, so definitely stay tuned for tomorrow. Definitely gonna try it out. Hope I see you then, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.